Hello everyone and welcome to my Bachelor Nation official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and gives this video a thumbs up. Susie Evans appeared relatively briefly on season 10 of Bachelor in Paradise, but her name has been mentioned on the show for weeks. It all started when Jeremy Simon handed his rose to Bailey Brown, which led Susie to leave the program. Jeremy expressed remorse over not having the opportunity to pursue things with Susie. But he didn't tell Bailey how he felt. Instead, Brian Otts took matters into his own hands, informing Bailey about Jeremy's residual affections for Susan. Jeremy and Bailey have since shared their perspectives on the drama. But Susie Evans has been silent until now. Continue reading to find out what actually transpired between her and Jeremy. Jeremy just had one date with Susie, but it was enough to make him smitten. He's not the only man in Bachelor Nation who can't stop thinking about Susie. Season 26 Bachelor Clayton sent Susie home, but later regretted it. He fired Rachel Recchia and Gabby and begged Susie for a second opportunity. Susie and Clayton dated for several months before calling it quits. He recently gave romance with Rachel Recchia another opportunity. It did not end nicely. In an unexpected twist, Brian's involvement in the Susie-Jeremy-Bailey situation did not turn out well. The rest of the cast called him out for breaking the bro code. Jeremy managed to persuade Bailey to stay on the show. However, Susie claims that there was no drama in the first place. She returned to the Vile Files podcast to give her side of the story. She was a guest last month following her unexpected choice to leave Bachelor in Paradise. During the interview, she expressed unhappiness with her time on season 10. In her most recent interview, Susie discussed what fans did not witness on her date with Jeremy. She stated that she knew on the date that Jeremy would not choose her at the rose ceremony, and that she had no chance with him. It was evident that he was saying, "I've been growing something with Bailey. We've been here longer. I'm truly surprised that I found someone so quickly." Susie remembered saying, "Oh, okay, so I'm going home." Some people still believe Susie Evans will make a dramatic return to Bachelor in Paradise. However, if she does, the program has kept it top secret. It appears unlikely that Susie will return to stir up more controversy. Especially when she said on the show that she's cool with Bailey now. Susie contacted Bailey after the show to let her know what Jeremy said during their date. The world of Bachelor in Paradise has always thrived on drama, heartbreak, redemption, and unexpected twists, but few storylines from season 10 carried as much emotional weight as the one involving Susie Evans, Jeremy Simon, and Bailey Brown. While Susie's appearance on the season was brief, her presence lingered like a ghost haunting the beach. Her name continued to be whispered long after she exited, woven into the tangled web of relationships, betrayals, and regrets that defined the season. For weeks, Jeremy wrestled with feelings he couldn't quite articulate, Bailey questioned her place in his heart, and the other contestants speculated about what had really gone on between Jeremy and Susie. Finally, Susie herself has decided to break the silence, speaking openly about what happened, what didn't happen, and what the cameras never showed. Susie's story begins on her first and only date with Jeremy Simon, a man who had already made waves on the beach for his easygoing charm, his sensitive nature, and his undeniable chemistry with Bailey Brown. From the moment Jeremy arrived in Paradise, Bailey seemed to have a spark with him. Their flirtations quickly escalated into late-night conversations, stolen kisses under the tiki torches, and a sense among the cast that they were building something meaningful. But when Susie stepped onto the beach, the energy shifted. She carried with her a reputation from her time with Clayton Echard on The Bachelor, a mix of admiration, curiosity, and notoriety. For Jeremy, Susie represented both temptation and possibility. When the producers handed Jeremy the opportunity to take someone new on a date, many assumed he would solidify his bond with Bailey. Instead, to everyone's surprise, he chose Susie. For Bailey, it was a gut punch. For Susie, it was flattering, but also complicated. She had walked onto the beach without expectations, unsure whether she would find a genuine connection, but open to exploring. With Jeremy, she found herself intrigued. He was attentive, funny, and earnest, and during their brief time together, he made her feel wanted. But as Susie later revealed on the vial files, it became obvious to her that Jeremy was conflicted. "I knew on that date," Susie explained, "that Jeremy wasn't going to pick me. He kept talking about Bailey. It was like, even while he was sitting across from me, sharing a drink, holding my hand, and smiling, she was still in the room with us. He told me how surprised he was to have found someone so quickly, how his connection with Bailey had been growing since the start, and how he didn't want to mess that up. In that moment, I just knew I wasn't the one." What the cameras didn't fully capture was Susie's reaction. She wasn't heartbroken, not exactly. She had been around this world long enough to know how fleeting paradise connections could be. But she was frustrated. She didn't want to be anyone's second choice, anyone's fallback, anyone's convenient option for a date card. When she left the beach soon after, she did so not with bitterness but with clarity. She had sensed that Jeremy's rose would go to Bailey long before it did. Still, her exit didn't close the chapter. If anything, it opened a new one. Jeremy couldn't stop thinking about her. He later admitted in confessionals that Susie had left a mark he hadn't expected. "I didn't think one date could hit me like that," he said. "But with Susie, there was something different. She made me think, what if?" And that's the worst feeling, right? When you're with someone great but still asking yourself, what if? The drama escalated not because of Susie herself, but because of Brian Otts, another contestant on the beach. Brian, watching Jeremy wrestle with his emotions, decided to step in. In what became one of the season's most controversial moments, Brian pulled Bailey aside and revealed that Jeremy still had feelings for Susie. His intentions may have been noble, or at least that's how he defended himself, but the move was widely seen as a breach of the unspoken bro code. The other men on the beach turned against him, accusing him of meddling in a relationship that wasn't his to disrupt. Jeremy, caught in the middle, found himself scrambling to reassure Bailey while also quietly resenting Brian for airing private feelings he hadn't yet come to terms with. Bailey, for her part, felt blindsided. She had believed Jeremy was fully invested in her, and suddenly, she was being told otherwise. In the aftermath, she and Jeremy had several tense conversations, most of which didn't make it to air. According to Bailey, she seriously considered walking away. But Jeremy, pleading his case, convinced her to stay. "I'm here for you," he insisted. "I don't want Susie. I want us." Whether Bailey fully believed him was another story. Thanks for watching. If you likes this video, do not forget to subscribe to my channel and do not miss any update.